This is Cocky Chris Marval, and you're listening to the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What's up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC, and today I'm interviewing my good buddy, Chris Marval.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. You still Cocky Chris Marval, or is that just an old nickname?
I don't use that anymore.
Just a reminder to you guys, you can follow us on our Twitter account at @CCG_WrestleCast and subscribe to the Countdown City Geeks YouTube channel for more WrestleCast episodes. So today I'm interviewing Chris Marval. I kind of want to get a retrospective, really just allow you to do what most wrestlers love to do, and that's talk about themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I can bring the cocky name back around.
You can bring the cocky name back around, yeah. No. So I guess really started, like most people that get involved with wrestling, you would think they were a fan growing up, and I was wondering if maybe that was the same for you.
Yeah, I was. Well, actually, I'm not going to say I was forced, but my uncles were big fans, and they all watched Southwest Championship Wrestling, and I grew up with my uncles, so what they watched, I watched, so it became one of those Saturday night things where it was like, I guess, religiously watching it.
It was the family thing?
Yeah, it was a family thing, you know, and I remember at night, like, wetting my eyes, making sure I was staying awake to watch all the whole episode and stuff, so I grew up with a bunch of the old stuff, you know, like Scott Casey, Bruiser Brody, Chavo, you know, just all the old school guys. Gino Hernandez, Tulio Blanchard, Walter McDaniel. Those are the guys I watched. So I grew up quick watching those guys.
Did you ever attend shows as a kid?
Yeah, I attended. My uncles would take me all the time. I can't remember them all the time. I remember the Skyscrapers. I remember them saying over the intercom that Ric Flair couldn't make it, and everybody got all mad, and they're like, it was one of those things where and then like supposedly he already had a reputation of like canceling on shows and stuff. So I don't know how that works.
That or they just false advertising kind of build it up,
possibly,
right?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean I was small, so I didn't really care. I was just glad to be there and take it all in and stuff.
Yeah. Well, you said your uncles did it. What about your parents? Were they all?
No, they were. Yeah. My mom was. My mom liked wrestling and stuff. My dad not too much. But yeah, it was mostly my uncles. They took me in all the time and took me to shows and stuff like that.
All right. So we talked a little bit before. You've been in this business for 18 years.
Yes.
In-ring debut 2000.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned, from what stories we told, Rudy Boy trained you, but it was kind of a transition period for that.
Yeah,
right?
I started off with Prince Fontenot. It was the ACW, which later turned into Anarchy Championship Wrestling. He sold the company to Darren and Jacob Ladder. Yeah. So it was one of those things where I started out with him for maybe 6 to 8 months, and then I ran into Rudy at a show, and then he was going to start running shows at Splashdown, and he offered us to work for him. And once we went there, we just stayed training at the old Shawn Michaels Academy.
Yeah. Who else trained with you in your class?
You
can remember.
Don Juan was there, Mojo, Sangani Marcelo, Ikaika, and Simply Luscious was there all the time. Then we get guys come in like Paul London and Sean Hernandez, and just random. It was just random people coming in all the time.
Those were the big names, though. Right?
Yeah.
I had a question from one WrestleCaster, also gay caster. We call him Jericho. That's his name. What inspired you to start wrestling? Was it more just growing up with it, or you just always had a love for it? Like what? I guess really, at what point did you say I'm going to be a pro wrestler?
It was more when WCW, when I watched Eddie Guerrero and not Shawn Michaels. Jericho, actually Jericho.
Chris Jericho.
The
Chris Jericho, not
Chris Jericho, the real one. When I saw them, I just said, and I saw that they weren't real huge like the guys in the 1980s, like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and all these guys. And then I started looking into it more, and I would see like Macho Man wasn't even that huge, or neither was Ricky Steamboat. And I was like, man, these guys aren't huge in stature, but they're huge like as far as having that quality of being a wrestler, and they demanded the ring, and that's where I kind of like started looking into it more. And I actually did try the Shawn Michaels Academy first. Well, actually Jose Lothario first. And I guess Shawn Michaels had stopped wrestling for a little while because of his back and stuff. It was about 97, 98 around there. And I looked into it, and it was just too expensive for me at the time. So then I found another school that was at Prince Fontenot, and it was a little bit cheaper. It was a lot cheaper, you know. So, and not that it was bad, you know, but you could just see the quality of the wrestling schools, how it is. You know, you get what you pay for, pretty much.
Yeah.
So if I had the money, I would have definitely went to Sean School, but I just took what I got and rode with it, and I'm still here.
You're constantly training, right?
Yeah,
learning new things. Yeah,
of course.
So, what can you say? I guess you're running training school now. We'll get into that. But compared to back then to now, how was training for you then? Like, was it a long process or?
I mean, when I trained with Prince, I had my first match within 2 or 3 weeks or something, and I was real fast. So I sold well, and I guess I took stuff well, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna put you in the match," and I was like, "All right," you know, not knowing
just a jobber match.
Yeah, pretty much not knowing that I was dumb and I shouldn't have done it, and you know, I should have had more training and did the things right way. But you know, I don't know, like early 20s or something, and I was just happy, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be on a show.
I'm gonna get paid to be on a show. Yeah.
Well, I don't think I got paid.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna do this. So yeah, I did it. And
so you got your debut off and running. You've wrestled like all over Texas.
Yeah, all over
pretty
Texas.
Much.
Yeah, all over the East Coast, from Texas all the way to Philadelphia.
Even to Ring of Honor. I think I saw your name on a bill.
Yeah, Ring of Honor, FIP, CZW, did stuff with TNA, WWE, and then all over Texas, XCW, you know, TWA, RCW.
Well, RCW is where I first saw you.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, one of the Texas treats. You mentioned Don Juan. So
Yeah.
I guess that's probably what you're most well known for that.
Mm-hmm.
Did that come about just, have you always been a tag team, or how did that really start for you guys?
It was just one of those things that fell into place. You know, he started to train with us, with Prince. He left for a little while.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what happened, but then he came back when Rudy had the school. So he transitioned, and we were just thrown together somehow, and it just worked.
Yeah.
And we started working at a company at Wildside in Atlanta, Georgia, and a guy named Bill Behrens is the one that gave us a lot of opportunities. And he's like, "Oh, just come up with a tag team name." So me and Don Juan were thinking of all these names. We're like Texas Threats, Texas Invasion, and all this other stuff because he wanted the Texas name involved.
Texas name involved, yeah.
So he emailed us back, and he's like, "What about Texas Treats?" And we looked at each other like, "Texas Treats? What the hell's that?" And I was like, "Do you mean Texas Threats?" He's like, "No, treats. You know, like you're a treat to watch." And I was like, "Oh," and not knowing, you know, how over it gotten, how we'd still be known for that, you know,
to this day.
To this day, yeah, 16, 17 years later.
Well, you give Don Juan a ladies' man dancing gimmick. That kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah. He was the charisma, I was the technical guy.
Yeah.
So it meshed well, you know.
Yeah.
So
now your wrestling style, I guess, that's appropriate with the hybrid name. You've kind of learned everything, the technical, the lucha. Was that always something you intended, or that just kind of happened over time?
I just kind of like learned on the way because I felt I had to, and I would just get in the ring all the time with different guys who knew different styles. So I mean, like we always say, it's a learning business, and you want to always keep on learning because that's the way WWE trains. You got to learn, you know, different ways because this is a worldwide business. So if you have to wrestle a guy who's from Mexico or Japan or something, it's good to be able to know their style and adjust.
Yeah.
And you know, and make it work. Because if you only know one thing, it's kind of difficult. Just
have you actually wrestled in Mexico, or you just wrestled?
Yeah. Rudy Boy used to take me and Don Juan to wrestle in Mexico all the time, so it was pretty fun. The rings are way harder.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
The crowds too, especially if you're a rudo. So,
yeah. They made us throw tortillas to the guys, the fans and stuff, and I thought we were gonna die.
Corn or flour? It doesn't matter.
Corn,
yeah.
Yeah, I remember they were calling us Mojaos and Wetbacks because we crossed over there. So we were known as the Wetbacks over there. So
funny how that works out, right? Yeah. So you could probably go back there and you start throwing the whole Trump wall thing and see how that gets over.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even try it.
Yeah. I've heard the stories there, though. You know, you got to get security to your car, or maybe like an escort. Is that pretty bad there?
The one we wrestled at, we were parked in the back, so they were able to walk us to the back and stuff like that. And once we got out of the parking lot, they're like, pretty much, you're on your own.
You're on your own. Good luck.
Yeah. They gave us the sign of the cross, and
and then just get back to the States as quick as you can, right? So
But they were fun. They were fun days.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, I started going to shows here locally in 2007. and that's the first time I saw you was at an RCW show, and I was hooked. That was the first time like I had seen any sort of local wrestling. So for me, that was just, I just enjoyed it. And the scene has grown so much since then.
In Texas, Texas has blown up. I mean, like I told fans, I mean, there was companies around Texas, but not the way it is now. It's become a real hotbed. As far as like people from the East Coast and West Coast want to wrestle here now.
Yeah.
There's just so much opportunity here, and a lot of good promotions here in Texas that are doing stuff. Changing the wrestling industry and making a name for themselves. Not just like I said, the East Coast guys. Texas is becoming, not that it was ever gone, but it's just real hot now.
It's more, I think more as a geography too. It's centrally located, so you kind of get a mix of everything.
Yeah,
it's a good hotbed.
Yeah.
So now, of course, 3 years ago, it's 2015, right, is when you started Hybrid.
Yes.
Yeah.
April of 20.
So what, you co-founded it with Masada, another Texas wrestling legend, I guess you could say.
And Ray Rowe as well.
And Ray Rowe. Okay, wow, who's on NXT now.
Yes.
So, yeah. What was your motivation in opening Hybrid?
Me and Masada talked about it maybe like a year or two prior. He was living up in Jersey, and he was like, he usually wanted to come back and do something when he came back, and we always thought about running school, but I mean, it was just one of those things. We're like, we just talked about it, just an idea, nothing set in stone, and I was able to get a ring and stuff, and
now you got 3.
now I got 3.
Yeah.
So we got a ring, and we got a guy was able to help us out, use his building. So Guido, his nickname is Guido. His name's James, but he gave us the opportunity to set up the ring at one of his dad's warehouses, and that's pretty much where we started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the big thing? What did you see about the wrestling scene in general that said I want to open a school? Like, what was it?
It was not really like I never thought it'd come to where we're at right now, as far as like 3 rings and a huge workout facility and all this other stuff. It was just one of those things where we just wanted to run and see where it went, and we didn't even think it was going to last that long. And we're going on 4 years now. Well, I'm going on 4 years now running it, and have like 15 students.
Yeah.
So it's picked up in the last 3-4 years, pretty good.
It wasn't more just like we talked briefly, like the quality of wrestling, as good as it has been, there's still some wrestlers that just not up to par, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, and like I always mention to everybody, I mean, I try to tell them to learn from my mistakes, because no telling where I would have been at if I would have taken more serious, if I would have hit the gym more, or if I would have trained that much harder and sacrificed and gone just different places. I probably could have got a contract somewhere, but I just felt like, things will fall into place and I'll get it. It doesn't work like that. So I try to tell these guys all the time, just keep working hard, and the dreams are there if you really want it. You just got to work hard for it.
You get out what you put in, kind of thing. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, class, you mentioned you have 15 students right now.
Right.
Is there like a set kind of time frame for it, or is it as students come in? Like, do you have like I'm starting a class at this time?
No, we're able to adjust. Like, since we have 3 rings, we have the newer guys start in the smaller ring, but they don't get in the ring until about 4 to 6 weeks, because they do cardio and conditioning first and make sure they're able to handle it before I just throw them in there. Like, that's how I got trained. I just got thrown in there, and they're like, "You're gonna do all this stuff here. You're gonna
trial by fire."
You're gonna take a body slam. You're gonna take this. You're gonna take this. You can take it. And I remember I think it was like 2 days later, I couldn't move my neck. I had like whiplash, and I was like, "What the hell am I doing?" And I was lucky that I fell on a Saturday, because then I was able to recover on a Sunday and then go back to training on Monday. So I think it was the other way around. I don't know if I would have went back or not.
It sounds like you couldn't even. They didn't really teach you to take a bump properly and protect yourself.
Of course not. No.
Yeah. So
I was in the backyard, so.
Now you still wrestle, I assume.
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't make it as man. I just try to like, if I do, I bring a couple students with me, show them, and then I just like kind of walk my way out and let them stay there. And a lot of people respect me here in Texas and stuff, so, which is cool. So I'm able to get my students out there and do that.
That's good. No, we had another question from our WrestleCaster Jericho. How different is it running a wrestling school versus working on the wrestling circuit? He's got the tough questions, so yeah.
It's as far as what do you mean?
I guess how is it different from your mentality? Like you've been wrestling for so long, always looking for work. What changed for you to actually turn it into a school, like to be that I guess from student to teacher mentality kind of thing. So,
I just try to help as many people as I can. Where I didn't get help back then. I want people to have opportunity now, and if I could give them that help, then I try to, help anybody get where they need to get, and it's just more of responsibility as far as trying to get these guys to where they need to get to, and because they're depending on me,
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on me as far as trying to get them, and then back and wrestling, it was the pressure on myself to perform and get the fans to want to see me again.
You feel like it's more or less pressure compared to when you're wrestling now?
It's like the weight is on my shoulder for myself. I guess it's more pressure now because I have 15 individuals who came and paying me to get them there, rather than me just putting all the weight on my shoulders and making sure I step up where I need to step up. You know. It's not my career; it's somebody else's now. Yeah.
So you mentioned they're paying you. Like, is it more of where I'm going to see if you can handle this before I take your money, or are you trying to work with them?
No.
So
no.
I hate to ask the money question, but you see
no.
that so many times.
Yeah,
so.
I see that a lot. Like I said, we have a base rate for the school, and I allow them to try to live their dream, and if they could make it, I don't try to push them out. I'm not anybody to tell them they can't live their dream. Just like if, you wanted a radio station, like you're doing this podcast, and nobody gave you the opportunity. We're like, I could have had a chance, but you didn't let me. Same here. I let anybody, all shapes and sizes, come in. They pay their money. It's not the full thing. We do payment plans here. So I at least allow them to try and give them that opportunity to at least try. And if they can't make it on their own, then they walk away. I never push anybody away.
Yeah. And it's not just for someone who's trying to get into wrestling to start. You're also opening your doors to people that are already wrestling, established wrestlers. Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So
that as well. Like I said, I try to help as many people as I can, and if they want to take the opportunity, it's here for them to come out and do it.
Good stuff. So you do have some seminars coming up. We know Raven going to be in town December 15th, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you've had so many. I've lost count. You've had.
Yeah, I've had at least almost 30 since I've been running the school.
Jeff Jarrett, Alberto.
Twice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, twice Jeff Jarrett. There we go. Now he's a Hall of Famer.
I started with Steve Carino, which was awesome. Now he's a coach in WWE. So.
Yeah, I remember Andy Dalton talking. That was his dream match, and he got it that weekend too.
So I was able to help him with that. So he's always thanks me for that. And now him and Carino are like friends. And
yeah, they're like best buddies. So that'd be
awesome.
nuts if they ever went to a tag team. But Carino's this age,
yeah. I mean, we saw Tito Ortiz and the other guys fighting. They're over their 40s.
Yeah.
But I mean.
So you got Raven coming up. What else do you have? You have Billy Gunn in January, I think you told me.
Yeah, I got the Game Changer tryout, which is a big promotion who's getting a lot of steam and doing a bunch of stuff. They had David Arquette there. Like 2 weeks ago or something, and did a hardcore match. And
that was the death match that made the rounds on the internet.
Yeah. So that was them. So I mean, hey, I don't know if there's anything as bad press.
Yeah.
It got a bunch of.
They're talking about you, kind of thing.
Yeah. But we saw them actually at New Orleans this past WrestleMania weekend, and they had a bunch of Joey Janela show and Spring Break and all this other stuff. And it's a good company. I mean, it's a cross between Ring of Honor and CZW. It's a little bit of hardcore, and then they have actual wrestling on their shows. So that's good. That's just going to be an opportunity for these guys to come and try out.
Open to anybody, or are they?
Yeah, open to wrestlers, active wrestlers to come in and try out, and could possibly be on one of their shows, next year. So it's a good opportunity. Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with those. They travel around a lot, or they?
Yeah, they were in California this past week, but they do a bunch of stuff in the East Coast as well. So they're based out of New Jersey, I think.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
So they do the Game Changer, and then they have the Compound Wrestling School, which is run by. Homicide.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so. I remember his school, yeah. Now, you did one fantasy camp for a geekcaster of ours, Steady, who brought his brother in for a birthday thing. And
right.
I got a video of Rob, who's a geekcaster, and he's going to hate me for showing you this, but him getting chopped by Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, from what I hear, he's supposed to take 10 of those. He went down after one.
Oh, was
so
he supposed to take 10?
I don't know.
I don't
Apparently,
remember.
so that's what
Yeah.
Steady told me. So,
Yeah.
Jesus has been a great addition to the school.
Right.
Ricardo Rodriguez, who, personal story. My wife and I wanted to joke that we can go to Halloween. I'd be Alberto Del Rio. She could be Ricardo Rodriguez because
Oh,
she could
okay.
speak Spanish. That'd be perfect. But
Yeah.
how did that opportunity come about for you to get him to be a coach?
He was driving down from Florida going to visit his mom in California and stuff, and he was just trying to make money on the way to visit his mom, for gas and food and whatnot. And Thunder Rosa said, hey, he's passing through. Would you want to do a seminar with him or whatnot? So I'm like, yeah, I mean, would anything to help him out,
Yeah.
So it was a really short notice. It was like a 3-day notice or something. So I put it out there, and he drew like 20, 25 people, which is pretty awesome. He made it, and he's like, oh, I'm thinking about moving back to Texas, maybe San Antonio, because Del Rio lives here. And they wanted to start traveling, and so that it's easier on promoters because of the flights and stuff, so they could just both fly out together on the same plane, and
Yeah.
it's just easier. So
Travel like a tag team kind of
yeah,
thing.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he was in California for 4 to 6 weeks, and he's like, hey, I'm heading back. Can I go train there and stuff like that? So I told him, yeah. He came in, and
Now he's a
it
coach.
just happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just happened.
He's here pretty often too, or is he still
Yeah,
travel
he's
around
here.
and take bookings?
He does a bunch of bookings on the weekends and stuff right now. But yeah, he's here usually 3 days a week, 3 days out of the week and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Now, how many students have graduated so far from this school?
since 15,
Yeah.
I've had maybe six students. Yeah, I mean it doesn't seem like a lot, but I rather them be ready, and they earn that certificate rather than just give it out, and they're
Yeah.
not ready, because it comes back to the school and it comes back to the name, to me and generally to making sure I'm sending out a good product.
Definitely, yeah.
And I make sure they earn it, and make sure they're qualified enough to I could send them anywhere and they'll be able to produce a good match.
Have any of them won championships where they've gone to? Or?
Oh yeah. We had the tag team, the Horde, and they had won like maybe. They were like the Texas Streets for a little while. They had like 6 or
The
7
new Texas
yeah,
Streets,
they had
yeah.
like 6 or 7 tag team belts at one time. So
Nice.
yeah, the female student we had graduate, she just won a belt in Victoria, so she's doing good right now. She actually did extra work for WWE about a month ago when they did the Hell in a Cell. So she got caught up, and she did Hell in a Cell, and then she did Monday Night Raw, and then SmackDown in Oklahoma. So
she took notes from you being a fake cop on Raw
yeah,
for arresting Daniel Bryan.
Just in case. Just in case they tell you to dress like a cop. But no, yeah, it was a good experience for her, and she's only been in the business for maybe a year and a half.
Yeah.
To get that opportunity real quick was pretty awesome.
That is
She was
pretty cool.
nervous. I mean, I would have been nervous too. So, but yeah, so she did pretty well.
Yeah, that extra, like, if you ever see Raw or SmackDown come through San Antonio or anything, any WWE show, this guy might be an extra. Look for him on
No,
TV.
I throw my students out there.
Yeah, you throw your students out now? Yeah, well,
I'll just back
if
them
they're
up.
not big enough to be a fake cop, maybe,
Yeah.
I get, as far as the school, what is like your overall goal for it? Obviously, I think we kind of covered that, just putting your product out there. So.
Yeah, just to keep expanding, and I have a female individual who's actually moving to San Antonio from Hawaii.
Wow.
So just something like that is pretty awesome, knowing that people from other places are starting to notice the school. And I had Yokozuna's son message me,
Wow.
wanting to stop by and check it out, and he's part of the dynasty, the Samoa dynasty. So I just get random messages all the time by name guys and say, hey, I want to stop by, which is awesome. That means the name's getting out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if somebody saw I think what would be cool is, somebody from England or Japan or somebody, and say, hey, I want to come train there and move there just for the school. That's something, a big accomplishment as far as being recognized and, knowing that I'm doing something good.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, the word's getting out there, right?
Yeah.
All right, so some other final Q&A we had for you. Now, this one comes from my wife,
Okay.
who you know very well, too.
Yep.
So she had one question for you. Would you rather have one more match against Don Juan or teaming with Don Juan?
Oh, it's easy teaming with him.
Against who, though?
Against who?
Yeah.
If we were both ring ready.
Ring ready? Yeah. In your
just say
prime, I guess you could
yeah,
say.
yeah. I mean, I could get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because I'm 40 doesn't mean I can't do it. I just choose not to.
Yeah.
But I would. Anybody would be awesome. Just to get that back there and just hear that, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Texas street music again would be cool. But yeah, I mean, anybody would be cool to wrestle, you know.
So did you have a dream match then for yourself or as a tag team? Maybe?
Yeah, we wanted to work Alex Shelley and the Detroit guys.
Chris Sabin, Motor City Machine
Yeah,
Guns, yes.
we those were the guys that were on our list, and something happened and it fell through. It fell through, you know. And the Rock and Roll Express were another one that we were gonna work with, and it never happened. But those would have been two good tag matches to do.
Pretty awesome. So what is, I guess for your career, what is your favorite moment and or match of your career that you've ever had?
Favorite?
We can start with match if you want, because you've 18 years of memories. Well,
Yeah.
some time.
Special match would just be the one I just had with Chavo Jr. A couple months ago,
Yeah.
because I wrestled his dad years back,
Oh, wow.
and I told him the story. When I was like 5 or 6, I was able to take a picture with him and Scott Casey after one of the shows or whatever. And then, like, 27 years later, I got to wrestle him.
Yeah.
And then,
But that made him feel old, right?
well,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah, you too.
And then, years later, I was able to wrestle him. And then years later after that, I was able to wrestle his son. So, I mean, it's pretty cool, you know, to wrestle one Guerrero, you know, it's cool. But to wrestle two, and then it being a father and son, you know, it doesn't really happen like that to independent guys. So that was a pretty special match for me.
Yeah.
And then Jay Lito, and I wrestled Jay Lito. I think that's one of my best singles matches I've had, which is good.
And now he's a Ring of Honor champion, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And that's what's cool with me is, you know, like to see guys who are out there and they're Ring of Honor champion, and I was able to get in the ring and go toe to toe with these guys and hang with these guys, and they're world champions, you know. So that makes me feel good, you know.
And then I guess my final question for you is, what would you want your legacy in wrestling to be? I mean, I don't know. You've done this 18 years. Well, I'll start with how much longer do you see yourself wrestling?
I mean, it all depends on how my body is. Like right now, I mean, I'm still wrestling and I'm fine. I mean, I have bumps and bruises and my lumbar area and I have sciatic nerve and stuff damaged. But I mean, being in the ring is fine. You know.
Yeah.
I think my body will tell me when it's time. Right now, it doesn't feel like I need to stop. But I'm not wrestling as much as I used to, which is okay. I'm okay with it.
A little way to recover. So
yeah. As far as legacy-wise, I think if 15 years from now, you know, my student here is training somebody else, you know, and they got trained by me, where it, you know, I don't want to say domino effect, but like it just keeps going. You know, like I was able to train somebody who trained somebody and became, you know, well known. Pass that knowledge on. That would be good. If somebody's talking about me 20 years from now, saying, "Yeah, I went to the hybrid school of wrestling, and Chris Marval opened the door for me," and you know, now he's able to pass knowledge to somebody else, just to keep that knowledge going. And
or if somebody gets big on WWE, there's a WWE Network special where they come and interview about how you train somebody.
Yeah, and I'll be in a wheelchair and talking about it. That'd be
or
cool.
MTV Real Life, I'm a pro wrestler.
Yeah. If they still do that. Yeah, they don't play music anymore, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be a show on it.
Yeah. I know you guys just launched the website, it's hybridschoolofwrestling.com, which has a lot of information on what you guys have.
Right.
So there's the 3 rings. I see that you have a personal trainer over there who runs his.
He's
part of that too.
Yeah, he's part of that. He's been around for maybe 2.5 years, and he used to wrestle with me and Don Juan and Ikaika and stuff with Rudy Boy. So he just
For anyone local, he was Marty Cohn.
Yeah, Marty Cohn.
Yeah,
he still is.
Yeah, he still is.
That was Don Juan's name. I don't know. That's what long drives do. Like different places, you start thinking of stupid stuff. And
before satellite radio, when you really got to entertain yourself.
Yeah,
right?
and we had to download GPS.
Yeah,
and look at road maps and stuff to get to where we are. You know, so it's
stop at welcome centers for state maps.
And everybody depends on their phone for everything. So
it's a different world, right?
Yeah, totally.
So I went to the website, the Twitter at hybrid SOW, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. I'll put the graphic up here. Don't worry about it. Facebook's hybrid.s.o.w. And then Instagram, hybrid.s.o.w_. So that's all your social media.
I think those are all right.
Yeah.
Those are good.
I double checked it to make sure. So, Chris, I want to thank you for this.
Appreciate it.
My first wrestler interview. So I appreciate you taking the time.
I popped that cherry.
Yeah, you did. So it was great.
I hope it was good for you as it was for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. So yeah. Thanks. As you can tell, we're here at the Hybrid School of Wrestling. There's training going on behind us. So if you're interested in being a pro wrestler, or if you are a current pro wrestler, there's always something more for you to learn. Come check this guy out. He's got a great school going on here, something really good. For all you Geekcasters out there, Countdown City Geekcast, we're going to be at Dragon's Lair this Saturday at Alamo Ranch for their 1-year anniversary. Come by and say hi. From 11 to 5, they're going to have a whole bunch of activities going on. And again, for us, follow our Twitter at @CCG_WrestleCast and subscribe to the Countdown City Geeks YouTube channel. Chris, thank you again. We do have a sign off here. I'd appreciate it if you did it. Okay. It's pro wrestling is real. People are fake. You're welcome to join it with us if you want. So.
I'm gonna have to. You know, Don Juan was the the promo guy.
Is the promo guy?
Yeah.
Well, you can just sign off with this. I'll just say pro wrestling is real, and you can just join me. People are fake. Yeah. So until next time, heels and baby faces. Remember, pro wrestling is real. People are fake.
Dang! That was his finisher.